Ay, 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 ay. What was that shit? What was that shit? Here we go. Killing me. They're such bullies. Just jump straight up. This is crazy ass lobby. Mm. Shit. I just walked straight to that shit. Fucking forgot to turn that shit on. You fucking believe it? Alright. Screw it. Oh, you got better. Oh. Oh. Open it. Oh, hello. Yeah. Trivial, isn't it? Why am I dying? Oh. Ding. Ah. Brother. Good fight though. Guy was good. What? Shit, that was my fault. Accident. Fuck just hit me. Now I got just straight up against 5 people. Ah, so bad.
Thank you most kindly.
Oh, good job. Nice. Get up, fellas. Oh, I thought I could jump above it. You grow up so bad. Someone this. You, me, and you. Nothing else matters like doing we do on the Discovery Channel. Oh, someone's screaming. Damn.
Child! The glory! Child!
Glory to the gods. Damn. Max. Pawn category. That's right. Pawn. Double my pink. Moving really weird. My God. Get him. No other way to get him. Thank you. Oh. Came very close to getting banned earlier today for killing. And for that, you just say, "Oh, I misclicked the button." Get him, boys. Save me. Okay, stop. Ah. Fucking close game. Ba-dum-bum. Ba-dum. Mm. The man demons are afraid of. Wait, I want to watch this. What is
Robert Kirkman created The Walking Dead, one of the greatest zombie stories ever told. But what if I told you he wrote
so
another horror
European?
story even darker, one with demons and exorcisms that will make your skin crawl? Somewhere on a small farm, a teenage girl is fighting with her mother because she doesn't let her date an older guy, but there's a 4-year age difference and the mother is worried. Joshua, the youngest son, is eating something, but it's almost bedtime and he shouldn't be eating now. But it wasn't food he was munching on. He was chewing his own fingers off. The mother is worried and goes to the church, asking Reverend Anderson to see her son because she thinks he's being possessed. Somewhere else, Megan visits her brother, Kyle Anderson, who's dealing with depression and doesn't take good care of himself or the house.
They
She
show
convinces him
me.
to go shopping together, but he just wants her to leave and leave him alone, but she refuses. Reverend Anderson visits the concerned mother's home and realizes she was telling the truth. Joshua is actually being possessed by something, and he's even levitating off the bed. The young boy breaks his mother's nose with a strong kick, proving that the thing which is controlling him is quite strong. Later, the Reverend runs into Kyle and asks him for help in dealing with the boy, hinting that something similar happened to him as well, and he's got some experience. Megan takes her brother to her house for dinner, but her husband, Mark Hope, who's also a police officer, doesn't like him being there and around their daughter, Holly. Holly knows what happened to her uncle, remarking that he hurt his own daughter, and now he's not her daddy anymore. The next day, Kyle calls his ex-wife Allison, but he's too afraid to say something and just listen. His daughter Amber is playing in the yard, but instead of talking to them, he just breaks the phone in anger. Kyle decides to help Reverend Anderson and goes to Joshua's house, but the boy instantly recognizes him, calling him an outcast. Joshua jumps him and pins him to the ground and then proceeds to spit something in his mouth. The Reverend manages to break him apart, but he wants to take a break and smoke a cigarette. Kyle isn't so sure the boy is possessed. He could be faking it, or he might be sick. It's too
I
early
don't.
to tell.
Is that a new?
Reverend Anderson used to be married,
that
but his
cursed
wife left him and his son,
comic?
and he went into
Pretty
depression.
insane.
During one of his
I
lowest
don't remember
points in
this
life,
one.
a demon tried to possess him, and he even welcomed it.
I
but
wish you were
resisted at
here.
the
It was
last minute and asked
amazing.
it to leave his body. They go back inside and realize the boy doesn't like sunshine, so they remove the curtain. They get into another heated argument, and Joshua says he's stronger than Allison. It won't be so easy to beat him like he beat his wife. This pushes Kyle
What
over
the
the edge
fuck?
and he punches the young boy, leaving a big bruise on his face. Joshua then bites his hand, but the blood is like holy water and it burns him. The two guys decide to use blood against the demon, which leaves Joshua's body and exposes itself. Luckily, it's unable to
My
attack them
God.
without a host,
Worth
and
it.
it quickly disappears. Luckily, Joshua's exorcism is successful, and the kid will make a
Worth
full
the
recovery.
kills, eh?
The police show up, and Kyle's brother-in-law wants to arrest Kyle, but the mother doesn't want to press any charges. In the past, Kyle's wife was also possessed and she attacked their daughter, so he was forced to beat her up. Nobody believed his story and he was accused of being a wife beater. His wife divorced him and took their child, so he lives a mopey and lonely life now. Kyle realizes that something's been trying to hurt him his whole life, and if he's ever going to make things right between him and Allison, he needs to find out why. Kyle
Boink.
visits his mother in the hospital, who's in a coma and can't speak.
No boink.
Apparently, when he was a kid, she used to
Boom.
abuse him a lot, being mean to him and beating
Good
him
one
often.
from Derek.
But it wasn't always like that. Once she used to be a great mother, but everything changed one day, and he's hated her ever since. But now he wonders if maybe she was possessed as well. How can someone turn from being a wonderful mother to a full-blown monster out of nowhere? Reverend Anderson is leading a service in church when he sees someone he recognizes in the back. An old man dressed in a
There's
sharp
a-
suit and carrying a hat.
Good for
Kyle
me.
decides to fix up his life and starts cleaning his house, which is a dump, when he finds one of his missing teeth lying on the carpet, which apparently broke loose during
Yeah,
one
got
of
him.
his mother's beatings. The Reverend offers to drive him into town, but warns him to be careful if he sees something out of the ordinary, hinting about the old man from the church. Kyle wants to do some shopping, but runs into Donnie, one of his neighbors who used to be a mean
Oh,
bully.
fuck.
Apparently, this
And
guy
that's
has
so
an
bad.
awful history with his sister, and Kyle attacks him out of
Fucking with
nowhere.
his
The
fists.
beating gets pretty serious, but fortunately, Officer Holt was just around the corner and stops him. But upon hearing that this guy is Donnie, he attacks him as well, punching him in the face. Holt threatens him, asking him to leave town, or else he's going to kill him. He then offers to buy Kyle a drink
Let
and the
them
two
come.
guys head into a nearby
Let
bar.
them come
Megan
on
has
back.
always talked highly about her brother, so he doesn't understand how he could have attacked his wife and daughter. He nearly killed them. Kyle claims he never hurt his daughter, but he never told the police that his wife was possessed. They would have never believed him. The old man from before visits the mother in the hospital, saying that her son will never know how much she resisted,
Oh, fuck.
how much she fought back, and now, despite all of her efforts, they have him anyway. The story jumps to a man sharing a passionate kiss with another woman, but he does more than that and bites her tongue off. She's in shock and doesn't understand why he did it. While he says he's been thinking thoughts he shouldn't think, but he wants to think them. The woman's real husband comes inside carrying a bag of groceries, but it's too late. His wife is already dead, lying on the blood-stained carpet. Reverend Anderson is playing cards with his friends, which
But I
includes
missed
Chief
that
of Police
part.
Brian Giles' thump when he finds one of his missing teeth lying on the carpet, which apparently broke loose during one of his mother's beatings. The Reverend offers to drive him into town, but warns him to be
Bitch.
careful if he
Her.
sees something out of the ordinary, hinting about the old man from the church. Kyle wants to do some shopping, but runs into Donnie, one of his neighbors who used to be a mean bully. Apparently, this guy has an awful history with his sister, and Kyle attacks him out of nowhere. The beating gets pretty serious, but fortunately, Officer Holt was just around the corner and
Damn,
stops him.
Kyle,
But
you
upon
crazy
hearing that this guy is
motherfucker.
Donnie, he attacks him as well, punching him in the face. Holt threatens him, asking him to leave town, or else he's going to kill him. He then offers to buy Kyle a drink and the two guys head into a nearby bar. Megan has always talked highly about her brother, so he doesn't understand how he could have attacked his wife and daughter. He nearly
Damn,
killed
that
them.
one.
Kyle claims he never hurt his daughter, but he never told the police that his wife was possessed. They would have never believed him. The old man from before visits the mother in the hospital, saying that her son will never know how much she resisted, how much she fought back, and now, despite all of her efforts, they have him anyway. The story
Have him
jumps
in.
to a man sharing a passionate kiss with another woman, but he does more than that and bites her tongue off. She's in shock and doesn't understand why he did it. While he says he's been thinking thoughts he shouldn't think, but he wants to think them. The woman's real husband comes inside carrying a bag of groceries, but it's too late. His wife is already dead, lying on the blood-stained carpet. Reverend Anderson is playing cards with his friends, which includes Chief of Police Brian Giles, and he's taking all of their money.
Trying to blow me
In the
up?
morning, he gives the money to one of the women working at his church, claiming it should complete the roof fund and cover the rest of the fall picnic. Kyle is invited for dinner by his neighbor, Norval, who lost his wife last year on this day. Kyle knows exactly how it feels to lose someone you love. He and his wife loved each other very much, but things are different now. The Reverend calls his son, Matthew, apologizing for not being
I
there
missed.
for him. But there's history between them and he doesn't even pick up. Megan goes shopping with her daughter, but while she is busy putting the groceries in the car, Holly wanders unsuspectingly into the oncoming traffic. Luckily, the old man from the church is nearby and saves her at the last second. Megan is grateful, and the old man is just happy he could be of assistance. Kyle goes back home and looks towards a locked door, but he doesn't want to go inside. Not today. In the morning, a man knocks on the door, claiming he's Detective Luke Masters, and he needs his help. Kyle doesn't trust him and asks to see his badge, but he's here in an unofficial capacity. He's read the reports and knows everything about Kyle's life, including the incident with the Austin boy and how he helped him, so they agree to talk inside. Meanwhile, the old man from the church arrives in the
Oh.
neighborhood and knocks on Norval's door, asking if he can use the phone. After listening to his story, Kyle decides to help the detective and goes to see the Reverend, who is delivering food for the
Happened.
poorer families.
Kodiak.
Apparently, the detective's partner and best friend is possessed as well, and he killed the detective's wife. But demons don't usually kill people. They're more interested in corrupting their souls. The food delivery brings them to the home of an old lady named Mildred. She used to be
Excuse
possessed
me.
as well, but the Reverend exorcised her and she's all better now. But Kyle accidentally
fuck.
touches her hand, which causes her
I gotta
to scream
switch
and
to-
act crazy. They eventually leave, but Kyle can't shake the feeling that something's wrong with her. Detective Masters says he and his friend were partners for 7 years, and he would often come stay with him and his wife. He knows everything about his life and knows he wouldn't have killed his wife unless there was something wrong with him. He's now locked behind bars,
Oh.
but thinks he can get them inside to speak to him if they agree to help.
Grande.
The Reverend agrees, and Kyle goes back home where he runs into the old man from the church. The man says his name is Sidney and he used to be Norval's brother, who sadly passed away in his sleep just a couple of days ago. Detective Masters knows one of the guards at the prison and he arranged a visit with his wife's killer. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the man, besides the
Hell
fact
yeah!
that he taunts the detective
360
tormenting him
kill, you
about his
saw
wife's
that?
death. Detective Masters loses his temper and punches him in the face,
Okay,
asking what
I was
happened to
just-
him. The Reverend says the man is not possessed and it was a mistake coming here. He's just clearly disturbed. Kyle convinces him to
Okay,
go
that
back
was
inside and
just
try again,
bad.
but this time just the two of them. Kyle touches the man's face to
JD.
see if that has any effect on him, but it doesn't bother him that much. He does, however, call him an outcast, just like the other demon from before, proving
This
they
is
are onto
another
something.
comic
The
I've never
Reverend pulls
seen.
out his
Well, what's
Bible
the
and
name?
holy water and begins the exorcism.
One of the
but it's
greatest
not
zombie
working.
stories
He
ever
continues
told.
and splashes holy water on the man's face, but
Outcast.
he licks it and calls it refreshing.
Gotta read that
Kyle
one.
holds him down and pins his face to the table, while Reverend Anderson puts the
I like
cross on
zombie.
his face. However, they aren't strong enough to hold him down, and Kyle gets his nose broken during the struggle. They try again, but this time Kyle puts
You
his
just
blood
read them
in his
online
stomach,
nowadays, yeah.
believing that his blood might have an effect on him. It's working, but it's also killing the man, and Detective Master steps in to stop them. The demon is barely breathing, but he still wants more, proving that whatever worked on the previous demon isn't working on him as well. The guard comes as well and asks them to get the hell out of the prison. Before going their separate ways, Kyle says he wants to visit old lady Mildred again tomorrow because he thinks she's still possessed, and if he's right, she might be able to answer a few questions for him. Sidney was
Nice
watching
fight.
them from the back of his house and decides to say hello. The Reverend has seen him before at the church and doesn't trust him. There's just something about him. The next day they visit Mildred and Kyle takes her groceries into the kitchen. He gets close and touches
Virus.
her hand once again, and this has the same effect as before, and she goes wild. She starts screaming and asks the two of them to leave her home, or else she'd call the cops. The old lady is the Reverend's friend. He brings her food all the time. They've talked for hours before, and she has a demon inside, which means he
you
failed.
shoot me?
He doesn't know what's going on and wants to do some research before they can try again, so he goes back home. Upon going inside, there's someone hiding in the shadows, waiting for him. It's Sidney, who claims the Reverend knows his name, at least a few of them. He has so many. Sidney thinks that the Reverend and Kyle are starting to learn
Got
things
him.
that they shouldn't, things that they simply aren't meant to know, and he wants them to stop because this knowledge is forbidden. He gives him a warning and draws the devil's sign on his chest using a kitchen knife. Kyle goes into the locked room, which was his mother's, but this triggers a violent memory. One day she started beating him again, but he fought back and punched her in the nose, which caused her to fall on the ground. He lay on top of her, but
he's
his
dead.
touch caused the demon to be expelled from her body, and she went into a coma. He's been feeling guilty ever since and is afraid of her wound, but not today. Today he claims this is just a
Oh.
mental wound. The Reverend is badly injured, but he manages to bandage his wound all alone. He talks to God and wonders why he has abandoned him. He didn't have the courage to challenge the devil and begs for strength and power to confront him again. Megan goes to the city and meets with her brother's wife.
Aw.
They used to be good friends before they got separated. Allison still thinks about him a lot, but she doesn't want Megan to tell her brother this. He's forbidden from making contact with them, but she knows he's been randomly calling and saying nothing, which she quite enjoys. After finishing up and agreeing to see each other
Take it.
again soon, Megan goes to see Donnie,
Point.
who just ended his day
Yes.
shift. Kyle goes next door and asks Sidney if he can borrow his car for the day. He doesn't have one of his own. He then drives to the old lady's house,
Yeah, just
but she
walks
sees him
right
sitting
in there.
the driveway, so he speeds away. After everything that's happened recently, he wants to make
I
sure that
am
the boy he's
so
helped before is still
gonzoed.
safe, so he visits him. Luckily, Joshua seems fine and nothing happens when he shakes his hand. Megan gets out of her car and confronts Donnie, who apparently hurt her when they were younger.
Folks.
She curses him, saying she's never going to forget what he did to her and she's definitely never going to forgive him. She's going to have to live with the pain he caused her, and he's going to have to live with the guilt, knowing that deep down he's a monster. Reverend Anderson says he's helped exorcise other people over the years, fighting back the forces of evil, but he has to know which ones worked and which ones didn't. There are people out there living their
Yeah,
lives
he's
that
tough
could
nut,
be in torment,
bruh.
but he can't do this alone and needs Kyle's help. First on the list is a man whom he exorcised 2 years ago, but the Reverend hasn't seen much of him
We had
since.
him.
He even stopped coming to church. The man was very close to his wife, but they're separated now and he lives alone. Kyle shakes the
Oh, don't
man's
vote
hand,
kick him.
but he
What the
pulls
fuck?
back, claiming
Not
he doesn't
accident.
like being touched. Kyle persists and grabs him again, refusing to let go, which causes quite a scene. The man pulls back and asks what's wrong with him, but he begins coughing black spit, just like the other demons. The Reverend manages to calm him down, and they both leave before he calls the cops. They've just assaulted the man in his own home, and if the cops arrive, they're going to arrest them. The Reverend is way in over his
Get-
head
get
and
out of
doesn't
the way.
understand why his exorcism didn't work, and Kyle wants
I
answers.
want to kill that
Anderson
guy.
claims that the Lord hasn't given him the full picture of what's happening here, but it's clear to him that the two of them are face to face with evil.
Oh my.
To prove it, he removes
Okay,
his
he's
shirt
level
and
2,
shows
it's
him the
fine.
devil's sign carved in his skin, claiming it was done by the devil himself, who came after him and tried to stop them. He was too terrified. There was no struggle. His presence alone was so daunting that he couldn't even move. He didn't call the police because he was afraid they wouldn't believe him. They would think he did this to himself. Next on the list is Cherry, a young girl whom the Reverend exorcised a few months
Gameplay.
ago. But the father says she's not here. She ran away from home and lives on the streets in Charleston. As
How does
far
he
as
kill
knows.
people like
She's
that?
an adult now and refuses to come
He
back
always
home.
gets it.
So the cops are powerless to
And
do
I'm like,
anything about it. Kyle is worried about all the people who ever called the Reverend. How far could this go? How many have been exorcised but are still being tormented by demons? Sydney visits Mildred, the old lady demon, who knows exactly who he is and welcomes him inside. She tells him about the two men who visited her, claiming she just wants to be left alone. But Sydney says he's taking care of them and they won't be bothering her again. Before leaving, she grabs him and gives him a passionate kiss. But she was actually trying to steal some of his power. Unfortunately, it
This
doesn't
guy,
work
this
like this.
feminine.
But she's inside an old, weak human body,
Just
and she had
let
to
me
try.
know what I just
Nonetheless,
say. Just-
she claims it was worth taking over this body, because one day here is worth a millennium. Thanks to a tip from Detective Masters,
Damn,
Kyle and
she's-
the Reverend visit the soup kitchen in
Let him
Charleston,
try to
hoping
figure
find the
out
missing
there
girl.
is different
She was
way
actually
around
hiding in some
challenge.
dark alley with other homeless people, but she doesn't want to talk to them and runs away. She tries to hide inside an abandoned building, hiding from them and from the sun, which apparently hurts her. The Reverend grabs her from behind, while Kyle touches her face, trying to
Okay, that
exorcise
was
the
just like
demon
one
out.
shot.
But she fights
Well,
back and
I think-
manages to break free. She wants Kyle to hit her, just like he hit his pretty wife, which brings him to tears. His tears touch her skin, which causes the demon to get out of her body and reveal itself. But without a host
Oh,
body,
get his
it
name now.
disappears, and they are left again with more questions than answers.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Get
the
it.
exorcism left the girl unconscious, and the two men think they killed her. Sydney visits the
A
other demon
huevo.
in the area,
Huevo.
who also tells him about the two guys who visited him. He thought he had convinced the Reverend to drop the investigation, but it didn't turn out like that. This demon wants to help him, claiming he lives to serve him. He's ready to do whatever is needed of him, but for the moment, he just needs to stay put. The girl is still alive, but in a coma, and she was taken to the nearest hospital, where her parents arrived to console
Well,
her.
listen
She's
to
been
it.
on the streets
I
for the
can.
past couple of
I'm not
months,
that
and the
multitask.
mother is thankful to the two men for finding her. Kyle is
I'm
angry
not that
and blames the Reverend
multitasking,
for
man.
the exorcism, saying they could have killed her. He knows she's never getting out of a coma because
More like
he
a
did the
demon,
same
not
thing
a
to his
zombie.
mother, who's
Zombie.
still in the hospital several years later. The Reverend is convinced they did the right thing. These people are being controlled by demons, and even a life in a coma is better than what they had before. Kyle doesn't agree, and he storms out of the car, deciding to stay in the city a bit longer. He goes back to his old home and sees his daughter playing in the yard. His ex-wife sees him hiding behind a tree and asks to meet him on the front porch after she puts Amber to sleep. Kyle tells her he's trying to fix this, but what is there to fix? He beat her senseless and then tried to strangle their daughter. Nonetheless, seeing him here
Senseless
again makes
killing.
her emotional, and she sees the same man she fell in love with all those years ago. The two of them kiss passionately, but it doesn't last long, and he needs to go before she calls the cops. The Reverend arrives back home, but Sydney comes out of nowhere, claiming they need to talk. Reverend Anderson claims he's not afraid of him, but he's
Oh,
just
holy
trying
crap.
to act tough. Luckily, there's
Yes,
a car
team.
passing by and the woman greets them, but if something happens tonight, she won't recognize the man he's talking with. Sydney doesn't understand why the Reverend is trying to push him. He doesn't want to be here and he doesn't want to hurt him. But Anderson thinks he wants to hurt everyone.
What?
That might be true, but it's a matter of perspective.
short
The
spear.
old man threatens him again, asking him to leave Kyle Barnes alone. He belongs to him, and this is the Reverend's last warning. Anderson says he's not afraid of him anymore because the Lord
All
is
right,
watching
we won
over
this
him.
one.
But Sydney isn't so sure that's actually true. Instead of calling the police, Allison called
Believe
Megan,
in
who's
love
furious that
after
her brother
life.
came here, even though they have a restraining
Close
order
game.
against him
Actually,
and
close
he could
game.
be
Look at this.
arrested. He agrees to go
33
back home, but
to
before
0.
leaving, Amber comes outside. Kyle hugs his daughter, who hasn't seen her dad in a couple of months and misses him greatly. She wonders if he has to go because mommy was scary, but that's not the reason. Allison comes storming outside and demands her daughter back, but he just wants to hug her for a few more seconds. Kyle eventually leaves and says he's feeling much better now.
Feeling
Holding
much
his daughter
better
in his
now,
arms
Kyle.
again felt weird. There was a peace that washed over him. Megan demands to know
Gatel?
what
No,
happened that
Castell's
night
the
he got
best map.
violent. Did he hurt Amber, or was it Allison? Why did his daughter say that mommy was scary?
Good
He doesn't
tip.
want
Read
to talk about
Plutonian.
it.
That's
Not
a
yet
good
at least.
comic.
Not until he fixes it.
Really
Reverend
epic
Anderson
one. It's like a
enjoys a late
superhero
dinner,
and going
but
villain.
He's kind of paranoid now, and even the slightest noise freaks him out. Back in Megan's home, her husband puts their daughter to sleep, who says she heard a dog somewhere in the house. Mark goes into the bedroom and finds Megan sitting on top of the bed, looking strange and making dog
I want
noises.
to play.
Mark sees his
Frank.
wife and knows that something is wrong with her, so he asks her to stop because she's scaring him. She ignores him and attacks him instead, pinning him to the ground and smacking his head against the floor. Holly walks in on them and finds her parents fighting, but
It
this
was-
prompts Megan to go after her. We see a memory of
Okay,
when
I
Donnie
think he
used to
knows it was
regularly
me.
beat up Kyle, but luckily Megan was there to help him. The attacker it again, So the two
Don't
brothers hug it
crash
out.
me, please.
In the present,
Just crashed.
Mark manages to escape and go to Kyle's house alongside his
Aye.
daughter to ask for his help. Meanwhile, Reverend Anderson prays to God, asking him to
6,
give Kyle strength
7.
in dealing
What
with
the
whatever is
fuck?
happening here, and also to give
Wait, I
him a
gotta
sign because
screenshot
his
that.
faith is being tested. That's when Kyle knocks on the door, claiming he needs help saving his sister. But all of this makes the Reverend wonder if God actually gave him a sign. On their way to his sister's house, Kyle tries to understand why some people are left in a coma while others, like Joshua, are cured successfully. It must have something to do with the amount of time they were possessed. The longer you are being controlled, the harder it will be to fully recover. The exorcism begins, and the Reverend throws holy water on Megan, which hurts her, but
Right.
it's not enough. Kyle brings an entire glass of normal water, which has the same effect, only a lot stronger.
6,
Megan attacks her
7.
brother and pins him to the ground, claiming she wants his power and begins draining him. He decides to give her exactly what she wants, but this drains his energy, and he faints. The Reverend manages to drag him out of the room unharmed, but Kyle is determined to keep fighting and make sure this never happens to anyone ever again. Back at his house, Mark watches over his daughter, who fell asleep on the couch. He goes outside and runs into Sydney, who claims to be Kyle's neighbor and offers to babysit, giving Mark an opportunity to go be with his wife. The two guys go back in the room and continue the exorcism, but Megan is being controlled by a demon and she
Megan.
puts up one hell of a fight. They take her into the bathroom and cover her in water, which hurts
Play
the
this.
demon and weakens him. This prompts the demon to hurt Megan by slamming her head against the bathtub trying to kill her. Water was a good idea and it's weakened the demon, so they take her back into the room,
That was a
where
good
Mark walks in
move.
on them, demanding to know what's going on. She tricks her husband, claiming the two guys are
Good.
attacking her, and it works. Mark drops his
Yeah, that
guard down,
was
but she uses this opportunity and
retarded
pushes him
Patronum.
through the
Let me put
window.
my headset
She
up.
then wants to jump as well and try to kill herself, but her brother catches her at the last second and stops her. Kyle jumps on top of his sister and maintains contact, trying to get the demon to leave her body, and it's working. The demon eventually leaves her body and she spits out the darkness, just like others before her. Unfortunately, Mark fell through the window and is badly injured on the ground. Back at Kyle's house, Holly wakes up and sees Sydney babysitting, but he claims she's safe with him. The two of them have met before, when he saved her
Really,
life
I
in the
know
parking lot a few months
got
back.
the move.
The cops arrive and Mark is taken inside the ambulance while the others are being interrogated. They claim it was an accident and he tripped and fell through the window. The same thing happened to Megan, but Chief Giles doesn't buy it. With all that's been happening, they completely forgot about Holly and don't know what happened to her. Luckily, Sydney was watching her the entire time and asked them to be quiet because she's sleeping. Reverend Anderson grabs him and throws him outside,
me.
knowing damn well who he really is. But this isn't
Chance.
enough, so he starts attacking him, punching him mercilessly, a bit of revenge for what he did to him earlier. Chief Giles tries to stop him, but his shirt is ripped, revealing that the Reverend bears the mark of Satan on his chest. Sydney pretends to be the victim and says he wants to press charges, so the Reverend is arrested and taken to prison. Mark is in a coma and in rough shape, so Megan
Such a
watches
big
over him in
diff.
the hospital. Unfortunately, Kyle can't babysit Holly right now and wants to go home, leaving her alone in the corridor. The Reverend is in his cell praying to God, thanking
Huge
him
diff.
for giving him the strength to give the devil
I
one hell
lost
of a
this
beating.
one.
Chief Giles arrives and demands an explanation, but the only explanation that the Reverend gives him is that he was fighting the devil himself. The chief advises him to never say
Go
that
full
again,
four and
or
beat
they'll
my
never
ass
let
up.
him out of here. Megan blames herself for what happened to her husband, but it's not like she had any control of her actions. Two officers arrive to take her statement, but she maintains it was an accident and they both slipped and fell. Kyle decides to continue cleaning the house by doing some yard work, when Sydney appears and asks if they can talk. He knows not to trust him and wants to see if he's also a demon.
He
Sydney
left.
is much stronger than the others,
The
but being
fuck?
close to Kyle weakens him, even though he claims it's because of constant smoking. Sydney asks him if he knows why Megan was possessed all of a sudden. Why now after all these years? Was there something special
Cheating.
that happened? Different from when
Cheating.
he last saw her? Kyle goes back to the
Yeah,
hospital
Fable.
and finds his sister crying, claiming she remembers what happened.
Guys,
But there was
strong
something
man.
inside her, controlling her. He wants to know if she felt something off when they were together before, but the only thing she can remember was a strange moment when Kyle hugged his daughter back at Allison's house. Allison had just arrived in the room and overheard them talking, so Kyle decides to tell her the truth.
Wow. Drink.
He tells her that
Don't watch this. Man demons are afraid of. Nope. Creation of a space marine. 40k. 40k lore. How about every legendary warrior died?
Mom, excellent! I need some assistance! Greeting, my friend!
Damn, what's his left? Buggers. Teamwork. We got fucking out. How do we get out of here? Wait. Very good. Oh fuck me. They're like warning us. Shit. Is that a US server? No way. From you started the fight. Blaming each other now. Missed it. Is he an important CP person? Damn bags here. Look down. Fuck me, that noble was easy. Easier than your no, I'm not saying. Sorry, buddy. Got Jim Bob. Man, that was a close game. Close game. Uptown girl. She's been living in a world. Oh, oh, oh. Of a bitch. Thank you. Durion.
I won't forget your kindness. I did not expect you to fight so
Missed. All right, he's a friendly fella. Whoa! Was wanted to die in real life. A fire. I go to stage 2. Stage 2 is gonna be fun. Catapult. What the hell is my mold? I didn't have my mold. Cheating? Nah, jokes. Come on, buddy. I need the catapult. Need dog shit, archers, or something useful? Alright, take fire. Look! Grab the fire, folks. Boy. This way. Grab the fire. Nice. Right, this way. For you. Holy shit. I didn't even see that guy popping up. Out of nowhere. Okay, I didn't even name it in. Holy, two in a row. Right?
hello there, Buster.
Holy fuck, I'm sorry, horse. Never again. That was so bad. Aim left, cat guy. Him up. Wait. Hey. Autism. Fuck. Fucking washed. Taking a shower. I'm just hopping like some kind of okay. That worked out. That was sorry, bud. Dopa Prince. Let's go down first. Dopamine. Oh shit. Dead. Alright, who are the kings? Debnik and
Well, you have to use this.
2, 5, 1, 5. Binary guy. Ah.
Not a chance. What do you think?
All right, buddy. Nice farm. Let me cook. Oh my god. Why are you so tough? Woo! Jim, why are you so big? Tank perk, exactly. Careful. Wait, kid. Okay, I'm stepping back. Too much from my heart. Jim! Can't believe. Me? Me? Okay, where's the catapult? Ah, please don't tell me. Oh. Wait, is that? Oh, it's not. We'll never know what a catapult is. Ding. Unbelievable. Maybe he's there. Huh? Can't see. Maybe I'm blind or something. I don't see the catapult. Where the hell is fuck? The gun. On. Kata is down. Okay, okay. I missed. Alright, guys, unite. Just charge in with the fucking the horse. Got a good chunk out of him. Not a horse. Alright, I'm just horses. They call me the horse and boy. Oops. Alright, we're just gonna go back and grab the catapult. Remember, boys, it's faster to switch to the dagger than load another arrow. Sure. Beloved. I'm probably gonna get shot. That's on. I'm gonna get shot right in front of the tree. Oh. Push and swing. I can't wait for the series. I'm gonna give it a shot. Lucky. Alright. So far so lucky. So far so good. Don't kill him yet, man. I just got the kata. Don't. No. Had no. I just wanted once. What the? It's still there. You're lying.
I give you a heartfelt apology, but I think you owe me one also. I'm sorry for my actions.
So disgusting. I'm dead. Solana. Who buys Solanas nowadays? What's game? Pretty good game. I played like garbage. So I didn't pay real. That was fun. Fun. All right, I'm done. I am good to go. Tired. Check you on me out. Cool. You'll hear it. Bye bye.